Directional relay. So from the universal torque equation, the directional relay can be written as like this. You know the universal torque equation, like T is equal to K1 into I square plus K2 into V square plus K3 into V into I into cos theta minus tau plus K. So this is the universal equation. From here, in this direction relay, K1 is equal to 0, K2 is equal to 0, and for this direction relay, K3 is equal to positive and K is negative restraining torque. So therefore the equation for direction relay will be now K3 into V into I cos theta minus tau minus K is the direction relay net torque equation. So this is the operating torque and this is the restraining torque. So here in this directional relay, the relay must have the proper discrimination between the fault current direction and the normal current direction to operate the relay. If the normal current direction is like this, normal current direction is like this, and if the fault current direction is also like this, so therefore in this case the directional relay will not operate. The directional relay will not operate. It has to have certain direction to operate the relay. For example, this is the normal current direction. Then if the direction of the fault current is in this direction, then in this case the direction relay will operate. Directional relay will operate. So it should have proper discrimination between the fault current direction and as well as the normal current direction. If both the directions are similar, then in this case the direction relay will not operate. In this case the directions of normal current and as well as the fault current are different, so therefore the direction relay will be operated here. That means here it is preferred to have the direction relay because there is a difference in the direction. For that you must set the direction of the fault current, so therefore the direction relay will be operating. The direction relay operates if the current is flowing in the set direction. It must have proper discrimination, and the direction relay operates if current flowing, if the current flowing is in the set direction. That means you have to set the direction of the current flowing to operate the directional relay. So how are you setting the current direction? Based on the fault current flowing. So based on the fault current you are setting the direction. The relay has to operate as per the set direction, then the direction relay will be operated. Here this is the transmission line. The direction relay will be having component K3 or a power component, that means V into I component. So therefore I am having a current coil like this and I am having a voltage coil like this. So therefore this is my voltage coil, this is CT and this is PT. From this CT I am having current coil here, this is current coil, and from PT I am having voltage coil, and this voltage coil is having some phase shifting network like this to obtain the phase shift between these current coil and voltage coil. So the set direction of the direction relay is adjusted by changing this current coil terminals. Changing this current coil terminals, you can set the direction of the fault current. If the restraining torque ensures for the operation of this directional relay, a minimum current is required in its set direction. Therefore, the directional relay will be operated. So that minimum current, as and when the current flowing through the current coil is greater than that minimum set current, then the relay operates. If I is greater than I minimum, then the relay operates. If the I is less than I minimum, then the relay will not operate. The relay will not operate. So how we are fixing this I minimum value? We are fixing this I minimum value by using the spring restraining torque which is there in the relay circuit. So this I minimum is fixed, or I minimum is calculated or fixed by using spring restraining torque. So that's how the direction relay works. In simple, to understand the directional relay, for example, I am taking a generator here, then so there is another generator here, there is a load, something like this. Okay. There is a load here. I'm taking a parallel transmission line like this. So here there is another connection like this. My network is there. If the in general the conventional flow of current is from this generator like this to the load like this. Okay, and from this generator also the current will be coming like this, something like this. So this is a conventional way of flowing. If I got a line to ground fault here, so in that case, for example, I kept two relays at this end and this end, sending end side and as well as receiving end side. If there exists a fault, LG fault in the middle of the transmission line, then in that case the current flowing will be in this manner, and here from this load end side the current will be flowing in this direction. So after occurring the fault, the directions at the load side is like this. This is normal current direction and this is the fault current direction at load side, sorry, at generator side, but here in this case at load side this is the normal current direction, and here this is the fault current direction. Because normal current direction is in this direction, fault current direction is in this direction, opposite in direction. So here if I place a directional relay this generator side, there is no discrimination in the direction of the fault current compared to the normal current. There is no differentiate, there is no difference between these directions. So here when you compare this normal current direction and as well as fault current direction at load end side, there is a difference in the direction of the fault current. So here if I place direction relay at generator side and as well as load side, the direction relay which is existing at generator side will not work, whereas the direction relay which is existing at load side will be functioning. So that's what the conclusion from this concept, that in general the directional relays, most of the directional relays are placed near to the load side, because during the fault condition the direction relay will be working only whenever it is existing at load side only. If you are placing near to the generator side, there is no use of placing the directional relay. So for the directional relay, constant power characteristics, because for the directional relay the operating torque is V3, so K3 term V into I cos theta minus tau. So that is the constant product characteristic of directional relay. Constant product characteristics of directional relay. Why the constant product means that is T is equal to K3 into V into I. This is the constant product of voltage into current, theta minus tau plus minus of K, or directly you can take minus, or which is equal to K3 into V into I cos theta minus tau minus K. This is your torque equation. So here, if theta minus tau is constant, what happens? If theta minus tau is constant, then cos theta minus tau is also constant. Therefore, I can write the torque equation T is equal to K3 into Vi into some constant. So I can write this as complete K4 as a constant, V into I minus K. So I am considering this K3 and as well as this constant. By assuming that theta minus tau is constant, I am assuming these two constant as K4 constant. So from here, that means the K4 is equal to what? K3 into cos theta minus tau. This is a constant, another constant. Right. Now the torque equation will be T is equal to K4 into V into I minus K, spring constant K. So under threshold condition, this torque will be equal to 0. Under threshold condition, this torque will be 0 under threshold. What happens? K4 into V into I minus K is equal to 0. From here, V into I is equal to K by K4. This is your constant product, V into I. The value of this constant product characteristics of the direction relay is rectangular hyperbola. The constant product characteristics of the directional relay is rectangular hyperbola. The characteristics of this constant product characteristics of this direction relay is rectangular hyperbola. One of the important bit asked in the examination. That means here this V into I is equal to K by K4 can be having like this. This is I, this is V. This is I minimum, the minimum current which is required to operate the directional relay, and this is V minimum, the minimum voltage which is required to operate the directional relay from the voltage coil, from the current coil, and the waveform will be like this. The characteristics of this constant product characteristics are like this, hyperbola, rectangular hyperbola, and this is the operating zone of the relay. So after this, the relay will be operated. So at every point which is outside this curve is the operating zone of the relay. Whereas this one is not operating zone. I can call it as NOP, not operating zone. NOP zone, not operating zone, this one, because as you come this way, you are crossing this minimum values, so that if any one of the parameters is not obtained its minimum value, the relay will not operate. So how can you say this one? Means the operating torque, whenever the relay is operating, means the operating torque is greater than 0. That is the meaning, nothing but operating torque is greater than restraining torque. So therefore operating torque means K4 into Vi is greater than K. So here Vi should be greater than K by K4. So as and when the characteristics are greater than this K by K4, then only the relay will be operated. Okay. Here there are two conditions. First one, as we are having I minimum value and as well as V minimum value. So it should have a threshold value. That means it should have minimum current value and minimum voltage value. Then only the relay will be operated. If for any reason, if there is a possibility of having a current which is less than the minimum value, then in the set direction only, that means not in a reverse direction, whatever we have given for the operating of the relay, that is called set direction. As we said, this is a normal current and this is a fault current. So this is my set direction. So if any, because of any reason, if there is no such current magnitude which is less than I minimum, so in that direction, for any possible voltage, whatever it may be the voltage value, the relay will not operate because it should have its minimum value. So whenever I is less than I minimum, for any value of voltage, the relay will not operate. Because it should have a minimum voltage value and a minimum current value. As and when the value of current is less than this minimum current value, whatever the value of this voltage, even though the value is more, the relay will not work. The relay will not operate. Second condition, for any reason, if V is less than V minimum, for any value of the current, for example, if V is less than V minimum value, for any value of the current which is greater than the minimum value also in set direction, the relay will not operate. So you have to have both minimum values above which the relay will be operated. The relay will be operated if there is a minimum value of current and minimum value of voltage. Because of any reason, if one of the parameters is having less value to the minimum value, then the relay will not operate. So this is one of the problem that we can analyze here. As we are discussing that the direction relay must have I minimum and V minimum to operate. So here, by using this one, so I am writing here first one. To operate the relay, you must have I minimum and V minimum, right? So because of any reason, if I is less than I minimum, and voltage is at voltage minimum or minimum or more than that also, relay will not work. Second condition, if I is equal to I minimum or more than I minimum, but V is less than V minimum, in that case also relay will not operate. But this is the main drawback for us on a directional relay. Why means, by using these two conditions, we are having a problem. That problem is called a dependability problem. What is the meaning of dependability problem? Means it should operate when it is required. That is our dependability problem, as we discussed earlier. Security problem means what? It should not operate when it is not required, right? So because of this thing, we are facing the dependability problem. Why? Because as and when there is a fault existing in the power system network, this is a sending end voltage, let me say, and this is a relay operated here, current flowing through the circuit, and this is having the line Z impedance, right? So here when a fault is taken place in this condition, for example, if you are taking the voltage at this point, let me take this point is 1 and this point is 2, right? So if the voltage at point 1 is I into Z before the fault taken place, if a fault is taken place here, then because of the short circuit fault, what will be the impedance of the short circuit fault? 0 only, because it is a short circuit line. So the value of the impedance at short circuit is 0. So therefore the voltage across the terminals at this point V is equal to I into Z, which is equal to 0. So whenever there is a fault existing here, the value of the voltage is 0. So therefore you are falling into this condition. The voltage is less than the voltage minimum, but the current is having its minimum value because the fault current is more. It is crossing its limit. I may be more than I minimum, but V is equal to 0 here, even though the relay is not operating here. There is a fault even though the relay is not operating. That means it is facing a dependability problem. Dependability problem means what? It should operate when it is required. It is required here because there is a fault, but even though because of the short circuit fault the impedance becomes 0, therefore the voltage becomes minimum. It is not satisfying its minimum value. By that condition the relay is not operating. So here if the fault is, this is happened only because the fault is existing very near to the relay location. That's what the main problem here, because this is a relay and the impedance between this relay and as well as the fault location is very less. Say we can call it as 0 only. So because of that reason the relay is not operating. For example, if the fault is taken place here, then there may be some impedance which is existing, which can satisfy the minimum value so that the relay may be operated. So this is one of the problem existing at relay location, near to the location. So what is the conclusion from this means, if the fault is very near to the relay location, relay location, then the voltage fed to this directional relay is very less because of the short circuit path. So even we cannot have the minimum voltage required for its operation, and the relay will not be operated. So this is called, so what is the remedy for this means, you should place the relay in a such that you should place the relay such that it should have certain minimum impedance. It should have some minimum impedance to operate. So here it should have certain zone. Inside that zone the relay will not be operated. That zone is called a dead zone. If you are placing the relay in the dead zone, so the relay will not be operated. So here what is the meaning of the dead zone means, it is the maximum distance up to which the voltage fed to this relay is less than the minimum voltage required for its operation. That is called the dead zone. So if you are placing the relay inside the dead zone means the relay will not be operated. So that's the reason why this is the maximum distance. The maximum distance up to which the voltage fed to the relay, directional relay, is less than the minimum required for its operation, is less than the V minimum. Simply we can call it as V minimum. So this is the maximum distance up to which, for example, here and here, if you are placing the relay here and here, if there is a fault existing here and this is a maximum distance, this is called dead zone. Maximum distance up to which the direction relay cannot be having its V minimum value. So after this dead zone, the direction relay will be having its minimum value so that the relay will be operated. Okay, I will show otherwise like this. For example, relay is located here. This is the relay location, and if the fault is taken place here, then because very near to the fault condition, V is equal to 0, short circuit path, therefore the relay will not operate. And here if the fault is taken place, then let me say this is V less than V minimum, it is not satisfying the minimum value, here also relay will not operate. For example, if a fault is taken place here, it is at edge of the operation, here also relay will not operate, but it is under threshold condition. For example, if the fault is taken place here, if this is satisfying the distance which we have the voltage greater than V minimum, so here the relay will be operated. So this distance, below this distance, if the relay is taken place, then this is called a dead zone, which the direction relay will not operate even though the fault is taken place inside this dead zone. To provide certain voltage which is required for operation of the directional relay, to get certain impedance, the relay is located far away from the faulty condition. That is called the dead zone. This is the dead zone. Okay, so inside this dead zone, the relay will not operate. So to avoid the dead zone problem, actually, so if you are having this kind of dead zones, so there will be a lot of threat for the equipment which are connected inside this dead zone. So to avoid this dead zone problem, the voltage coil should not be supplied from the same phase. Therefore, that means for the direction relay we are having two types of voltage coil and as well as current coil. We are having two types of coils, because this is a constant product characteristics, Vi is equal to K by K4. So we are having voltage and as well as current. So that for that reason, if the current coil is taken from R phase, then the voltage coil should be taken from another different phases to avoid the dead zone problem. So this is the only one solution for avoiding the dead zone problem in direction relay. And we are having directional relay connections. First one is the 90 degrees connection. Second one is 30 degrees connection. Third one is 60 degree connection. So how can you connect this connection? Means this is related to current coil and voltage coil connections in a directional relay. First one will take 90 degrees connection. This is the current coil I have taken from R phase. This is Y phase and this is B phase. Okay, so I have taken current coil from R phase. This one is going to the current coil connection, right? And from this B phase I am taking one phase from this B. Let me write RYB. From this the voltage coil is connected. To avoid the dead zone problem, we are not taking these connections from a single phase. We are connecting these voltage coil and current coils in another phases. From another phases we are taking. Okay, so this is the 90 degrees connection. How can you classify this 90 degrees? How can you tell this is a 90 degrees connection? Means this is your voltage vector VR, this is VY, this is VB. Okay, so from here the voltage vector is from Y and B phases, so therefore this is a combination of voltage vector Y and B phases. This one is VB and the combination of this one is voltage vector. This is the resultant vector, voltage vector. Okay, what is this one? VYB. So current is taken from R phase, so this is IR and this is YVB, and the angle between these two, current coil and voltage coil, is 90 degrees. So that's why this type of connection is called 90 degrees connection. And this 90 degrees connection loses its sensitivity for all the three phases. Whenever there is a three phase fault, then all the three phase voltages will be 0, VYB or VRY or something like that. If you take any phase voltage, then that will be 0. So therefore this direction relay will not work. So for 90 degrees connection, the sensitivity of the 90 degrees connection will be lost for three phase faults. The sensitivity of the 90 degrees connection lost for three phase faults. It will not work. Similarly, second one is a 30 degrees connection. So same diagram for this one also. R phase, from R phase current coil connection is given, but the voltage coil connections are given from this one. Okay, I will write here. Write all the three connections over here. First connection is 90 degrees connection from R phase current coil, and from Y phase, this is R, this is Y, this is B. From Y phase and B phase, voltage coil is taken place, and the waveforms will be, the vector diagram will be like this: VR, Vy, Vb, and this one is Vb. The combination is complete vector Vyb, and this is a 90 degrees connection, and it is losing its sensitivity for three phase faults. Right. Next, 30 degrees connection. The current coil is taken from R phase, and the voltage coil will also taken from R and as well as B, not from Y. Okay, the vector diagram will be like this. This is VR, Vy, Vb. Okay, and I have taken the voltage vector from between R and B phases. So therefore this is Vb. Combination of this one is this one, Vrb. So here this one is 120 degrees, this one is a 60 degrees, and this one is a 30 degrees. That's why the name 30 degree connection, Vrb. And this 30 degrees connection loses its sensitivity for all the three phase faults, as well as the line to line to ground faults. For these faults, it is not having the sensitivity to measure the fault. And the last one is a 60 degrees connection, and this 60 degrees connection is very similar to the 30 degree connection only. Same way of giving the connections, it is also taken from this same way of connections, but the phasor diagram is different. That phasor diagram I will draw here. This is VR, this is Vy, and Vb. Okay, earlier what we have taken, this one we have taken Vb, and the combination of this one is 30 degree connection. Vrb is a 30 degree connection. Now the combination of Vb as well as Vy, here also there is another connection, so this one also we can connect it. This is Vby, this is also 30 degree connection. So right, and the combination of these two will give you 60 degree connection. Again it will be Vry only, and this is a 60 degree connection, 60 degrees connection. And this one loses its sensitivity for all the three phase fault. For all the three phase faults, it will be losing its sensitivity. Okay, so here out of these three connections, 90 degree connection, 30 degree connections, and 60 degrees connection, all the connections are based on the voltage coil connections, and depending upon the phasor diagrams only the names existing, and these three connections are having its own sensitivities for different faults. But generally we are taking the connection between 90 to 45 degrees connection, 90 degrees to 45 degrees connection, 90 to 45 degree connection in the directional relay, 90 to 45 degrees connection. This means we are having the formula K3 V into I cos theta minus tau. Here this theta is 90 degrees and this tau is 45 degrees. So here this operating voltage VR and VYB, this one is a current IR, current coil current IR, okay, and this is the power factor angle, and this is the theta, this one, right? Operating torque can be given as K3 into V into I cos theta minus tau. If torque is equal to 45 degrees, let me say, because this is called 90 minus 45 degrees connection. If the torque is 45 degrees, what happens? Tau is equal to 45 degrees. Let me say. Then the theta will be existing between 90 to 0 degrees, 0 to 90 degrees. It will be varied, right? Here, if theta is equal to existing between 0 to 90 degrees, then what happens for theta minus tau? Theta minus tau means tau is already 45 degrees. Theta minus tau is 45 degrees. So I am just subtracting this 45 degrees, theta minus 45 degrees, 90 minus 45 degrees. So here it will be minus 45 degrees. Theta minus this one I am representing like tau, because tau is 45 degrees and this one is 45 degrees. Minus 45 to plus 45 degrees, theta minus tau. Or I can write magnitude of this theta minus tau is less than 45 degrees. Otherwise cos theta minus tau will be greater than 0.707. That means operating torque is greater than 70.7% of its maximum torque. In the directional relay, if you are taking theta as 90 degrees and tau as 45 degrees, that's why the best preferable maximum torque angle is 45 degrees. The best maximum preferable torque angle is 45 degrees for directional relay. Very important bit for directional relay, because the operating torque is produced is always greater than 70.7% of its possible maximum torque. Okay, then after the phasor diagram of the directional relay we'll see now. The phasor diagram of the directional relay. Phasor diagram of directional relay. Right. As we know that we are having two windings here. First one is a voltage coil having phase shifting network here. This one is a phase shifting network and having voltage coil having impedance ZVC, and this is V, which is equal to VYB, any two phases, and this is voltage coil network and phase shifting network R and C having impedance ZRC, right? And this is a voltage coil impedance ZV and this is the Z voltage coil producing the flux 5C or 5V voltage coil flux. This is a voltage coil, and we know that the current coil is also there in directional relay, and this is the current taken from the R phase, right? So to avoid the dead zone, we are taking current coil from R phase and voltage coil from Y and B phases, and because of this current coil we are having the flux 5C. Okay, now the impedance of this voltage, voltage coil ZV is equal to the combination of ZRC plus ZVC. So I can write ZV is equal to ZRC, which is variable, plus voltage coil impedance ZVC, right? And what is the current flowing through this IV voltage coil current, which is nothing but V by ZV, which is variable because the ZRC is variable here, or ZV can be written as ZV at an angle of plus or minus theta. This is a voltage coil impedance, right? So here we know that operating torque T op is equal to K3 into V into I into cos theta minus tau. Okay, so this is the first equation, and also we know that the basic principle of the relays, operating torque will be product of two fluxes into sine alpha angle between the two flux. This is the basic principle of the operating principle of the relay. We have already seen this one in induction cup relay, in the type of relays. Okay, here this theta V is adjusted by adjusting this phase shifting circuit, right? And this 5C is nothing but here 5C is the current coil flux, which can be written as turns, current coil turns NC into I by reluctance, and 5V is nothing but voltage coil flux, can be calculated from turns of the voltage coil divided by the reluctance, N into V into N into I by reluctance, right? And the theta is the angle between the voltage coil and the current coil current. This theta is the angle between, otherwise I'll write here, angle between voltage coil voltage and current coil current, that is the value of theta. But what happens for this theta V means, theta V is the voltage coil voltage. There are two coils, so this is the voltage coil voltage and also current coil current, sorry, voltage coil current. This is the difference, voltage coil current. This is the theta V, but actual theta is the voltage coil voltage versus current coil current. But in the voltage coil also there will be current. The angle between this voltage coil voltage and voltage coil current is the theta V. In the phasor diagram I will show you here. This is VR, reference voltage, vector R. This is V, and this is current flowing through the voltage vector IV because of 5V flux of the voltage coil V. And here this is the current I, which is flowing through the current coil current flux because of the current coil flux I, because of the voltage coil flux IV. Okay, and this is the angle between IV and IC, because operating torque is equal to 5C into 5V into sine alpha between 5C and 5V. Because of 5C, current IC or I, because of 5V, current IV. The angle between these two is phi, right? And the power factor angle between I and V is the theta. Also we know that the voltage coil voltage and the current coil voltage coil current is the theta V. That's what we have discussed here. Theta is the voltage coil voltage versus current coil current, but theta V is the voltage coil voltage versus voltage coil current. This is the voltage coil current, this is the voltage coil voltage, this is the angle theta V. Okay, and here there will be a maximum torque angle which is 90 degrees with respect to IV. This is maximum torque angle which is having 90 degrees with respect to IV. This is the maximum torque angle 90 degrees with respect to IV, maximum torque angle, and this is my torque tau. Tau is the angle between V and as well as maximum torque angle. This is a phasor diagram of the directional relay. Okay, so voltage vector VR, and this is a reference voltage V, and voltage current, voltage coil current IV, current coil current IC, and between these angle is alpha, and theta is the angle between I versus V, voltage coil voltage and current coil current, and voltage coil voltage versus voltage coil current is the angle theta V, right? And this is the maximum torque angle curve, maximum torque angle line, and the angle between this one and voltage is a tau. So here this theta V can be adjusted by adjusting the R and C values in the phase shifting network, which we have shown in the diagram. The maximum value, the maximum torque angle line is always in quadrature with the IV, always in quadrature with the IV. That means always in with 90 degrees with respect to IV. This maximum torque angle versus IV will be always 90 degrees. Okay. The maximum torque angle of this line, the maximum torque angle of this line can be controlled by using this theta V also. So here this theta V plus tau, this theta V plus tau is equal to 90 degrees, and here if theta V is equal to 0, if theta V is equal to 0, then tau will be 90 degrees. Okay, and if theta V is equal to 90 degrees, then the tau will be 0 degrees. That means it is in phase with V, in phase with V, right? If theta V is equal to 45, then what happens? If theta V is equal to 45 degrees, then tau is equal to 90 minus 45, 45 degrees, which is having maximum torque angle. So if theta is equal to tau, then operating torque is maximum. If alpha is equal to 90 degrees, then operating torque is also maximum. So these are the phasor diagram of directional relay, and another characteristic is there called polar characteristics of directional relay. Polar characteristics of directional relay. Polar characteristics of the directional relay. First one, if the restraining torque is 0, the restraining torque is 0, then what happens to the torque? T is equal to operating torque minus restraining torque. Therefore T is equal to K3 into V into I cos theta minus tau minus restraining torque, which is 0. Therefore I is greater than 0 in set direction. In set direction, that means what here? Relay operates. Relay operates. If the restraining torque is 0, that means there is no restraining torque. So under threshold condition, under threshold condition, that means the torque will be 0. Therefore operating torque is equal to restraining torque, that we know very well. That means K3 V into I cos theta minus tau is equal to what? Already we discussed that the restraining torque is 0. This is our assumption. Therefore, the restraining torque will be 0 here. That means the cos theta minus tau will be what? Cos theta minus tau will be 0. Theta is equal to, theta minus tau is equal to, cos 0 means what? Plus or minus pi by 2, or theta is equal to plus or minus pi by 2 plus tau. I can write like this: theta is equal to tau plus or minus pi by 2. This is when there is no restraining force. Then when there is no restraining force, this is our polar characteristics. I am discussing the polar characteristics of the direction relay when there is no restraining torque. This is the value of theta, restraining torque. Okay, so this can be drawn here like this: theta is equal to tau plus or minus pi by 2. So I am drawing like this. This is my V, and this is VR, right? Something like straight line. So this is maximum torque angle or zero torque line. This is called a zero torque line. Zero torque line, right? And this is the value of I, which is having the power factor theta, voltage versus current, and this is maximum torque angle. As we discussed it just now, maximum torque angle and IV will be always in quadratic nature. Maximum torque angle, this is the tau, this is the tau. Here theta is equal to what? Here tau plus or minus pi by 2. So here I am taking plus pi by 2 this case, and here I am taking theta is equal to tau minus pi by 2, and this is not operating zone. This is not operating zone. All this area is not operating zone, and this is the operating zone of the relay. Operating zone. Operating zone of the relay. How can you tell this one means? So there is no restraining force. That is our condition here. If there is a restraining force of some x, if there is a restraining force of some x, or I will explain like this: if theta is equal to let me take tau plus pi by 2, this is our assumption. Let us take some small angle x. Then operating torque will be what here? K3 into V into I cos theta minus tau. So here I can replace this theta as K3 into Vi into cos theta means tau plus pi by 2 plus x minus tau. So what will be here? K3 into V into I cos this tau and this tau will get cancelled out, and pi by 2 plus x. Pi by 2 plus x. That means something like this: operating torque is equal to minus K3 Vi sin x, cos 90 plus x minus sin x. So operating torque is negative. That means the relay will not operate. Relay will not operate. The operating torque is in negative direction. The relay will not be operated. That's why this area is not operating zone, and this is the operating zone of the relay. Operating zone of the relay. So if the zero torque line is always in phase with or in phase opposition with voltage coil current, then that means the zero torque line will be always in phase with or in opposite phase or in phase opposition with the voltage coil current. Okay, that is the first line that you have to remember. And this maximum torque angle and zero torque angle are always orthogonal or perpendicular to each other. This is the zero torque line and this is the maximum torque line, which are always at 90 degrees displacement. and this maximum torque angle and as well as zero torque angle can be adjusted by adjusting the theta v phase shifting network. So this is the case when the restraining torque is 0. When the restraining torque is 0. So what happens when there is no restraining? There is a restraining torque. That means the restraining torque is not equal to 0 condition. Second case, if the restraining torque is not equal to 0. Restraining torque is not equal to 0. That means the net torque will be not operating torque minus restraining torque. So here net torque is not equal to 0. That means the operating torque minus restraining torque will not be equal to 0. If I is less than I minimum, then the restraining torque will be greater than the operating torque. Therefore the relay will be under not operating zone. If I is greater than I minimum, therefore the restraining torque is less than the operating torque. The relay will be under operating zone. Or if I is equal to I minimum, then the restraining torque is equal to operating torque. Then the relay will be at a threshold condition, or the net torque is equal to 0. So these are the conditions to operate the relay. So here for this also we have to explain by using this zero torque line and maximum torque line angles. Right. So this is a zero torque line. This is the maximum torque line, maximum torque angle line, and this is a zero torque angle line. And there is some restraining torque like this. Earlier we have discussed that there was no restraining torque, but in this case there is a restraining torque like this. So this is a restraining torque line, restraining torque, and this is my current I, this is voltage V, this is VR, and these all are not operating zones, not operating zones, and this is operating zone, and because this is crossing its value I minimum here in this graph, I minimum is here, I minimum is here. Okay, so this is a way to represent the polar coordinates of the directional relay. And applications of the direction relays are, the direction relays are used for the protection of parallel feeders and ring main distributions, parallel feeders and as well as ring main distributions. Applications of the direction relays are parallel feeders and ring main distribution systems, ring main distribution systems. In these two systems the direction relays are used. And how to identify the direction relay means, that is very simple. The direction relays are always located near to the load side, not at the generator side, that we already discussed just now. Okay, so here one question will be like to understand the directional relay concept, I am giving or I am explaining by taking a real-time example here. This is generator 1, generator 2, generator 3, and this is a grid, right? And here I am placing a relay. These cross marks are the relays here and here and here. So I can give the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 relays placed in this case, and identify the directional relays in the diagram. Directional relays are always placed near to the load side. That is very clear. So therefore this is not the directional relay. This is not the directional relay. Generator side, this is also not the directional relay, and 8 this one is also not the direction relay, and this is also not the directional relay. So therefore the direction relays are 2, 4 and 9, then as well as 5. Okay, then after that 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 are the directional relays because they are located at load side. Okay, so this is related to the directional relay.